example for w to the fourth plus 8w. So this is still a higher degree polynomial. We talk about, there's a whole section on what the heck a polynomial is. But first we're going to start off by just factoring out everything we have in common in this section, or this term, which would be w. So this is w cubed plus 8 equals 0. So now I know, and I'm about to tell you, which is why I'm here, right here in the video, is to explain to you that this factor is a sum of cubes. Okay, this is a sum of cubes. So this would be a cubed plus b cubed. Sum of cubes factor as a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. There's also such a thing as difference of cubes, right? So that just means subtraction, right? Difference, subtraction. It factors such as a minus b times the trinomial of a squared plus ab plus b squared. So I'm going to use the sum of cubes to factor w cubed plus 8. So here, if you want to go by this pattern here, this is the pattern, right? This is what we're following. Our a is w, and b is, well, in this case, 2. Because what's 2 cubed? 8, right? 2 cubed is 8, so b is really 2. So if I've got w cubed plus 8, this is equal to w plus 2, now remember I'm following the pattern, times w squared minus 2w, because that's ab, plus 4, because that's b squared. B is 2. Now, one thing that I need to tell you is that this trinomial for difference in sum of cubes is unfactorable, at least for real numbers. So we have to factor this to find the imaginary numbers. These are not factorable. We will not get a real number. So they are not factorable with real numbers, at least. So we will have to factor this because it specifically asks for all real and imaginary. But if it doesn't say imaginary, it just says real solutions, then don't even worry about factoring this because it's not going to give you a real solution. Okay, so here we are. Back to this. So I'm just going to rewrite the expansion. Minus plus 4. So the zero product principle says that w equals 0, w plus 2 equals 0, and then w squared minus 2w plus 4 equals 0. These two are easy, right? So that one's done. This one is just a one-stepper. Now here, I know already, like I said, this is not going to give us a real number. So let's do some side work fresh. So let's factor it. We're going to factor it using completing the square because I want you to practice, right? So I'm going to force you to practice. So completing the square. So that's an answer just for sake of visual effect. Letters on one side, numbers on the other. Then we are going to add in our skeleton. So the letter drops, the operation drops, the middle number gets divided by 2, which is 1. This number, remember, gets squared and it goes in both the blanks above. So now, -4 plus 1 is -3. So now something squared is equal to a negative number. Remember, nothing squared technically can be a negative number, which is where the fact that I know this is imaginary comes into play. So take the square root of both sides. Don't forget the plus or minus. But now we have that negative under the square root, so what do we need to pull out? an I. So I've got plus or minus I root 3, and then the last step is to add the 1. All right, so our 4 answers are 0, -2, 1 plus I root 3, and 1, oh, excuse me, plus and 1 minus I root 3. There we go. So notice, what's the degree of this polynomial? 4. And how many answers did we get? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, very, very curious. I wonder if that's a thing. I wonder if that's a thing. Very interesting. We'll talk about that later.